Hello, good evening, and welcome back. So there might still be hope, as the intrusive COVID passports will create a two-tier Britain. Rebel MPs, gotta love rebels, warn as Boris Johnson hints he could sidestep Parliament and force them into law without a vote. So, the idea is to link them in with the reduction in social distancing in order to then not require a vote, because it's a changing of the pre-existing law. Along those lines, it's a weird legal backdoor workaround that it is a bit disconcerting that it's there, but nonetheless, it's their way of doing things, because of course, if they have a desire to do something, they will find a way to make it happen, rightly or wrongly, primarily wrongly, and therefore there isn't a lot that can be done, with the exception of the next time of voting. But of course, if they can stop people from going to certain places unless vaccinated, or holding some exemption certification or anything like that, then what makes you think you can get to the polling places without such a certificate? So, that's not good. But two things to bear in mind. One is, of course, the dozens of so-called rebel MPs who are saying, yeah, maybe we shouldn't do this. Labour don't seem to know what they stand for, because of course they want to be in opposition so that they gain power, but also they're also thinking, yeah, but if this gets through, then we can use it later on when we're in power, because there's definitely pushback against this, and then we'll do the authoritarianism properly. So maybe we can just kind of let it slide, so we voice out against it enough in order to get in power next time, but not so much that we lose support of people that we need when we enact these laws, but stronger. To my cynical old brain, that is the way that they wish to be doing it. But if you believe what Boris Johnson says, and instead of what he does, but just from his words, then he is trying to clear up any misunderstanding to say that no, there would not be any COVID certification or COVID exemption certification for essential shops. We still don't know what essential is, but nonetheless that is what he is saying. So he told the briefing, on COVID status certification, as we prefer to call it. Oh, they love their language games. The most important thing to say to everybody listening and watching is there's absolutely no question of people being asked to produce certification or a COVID status report when they go to the shops or to the pub garden or to the hairdressers or whatever on Monday. And indeed, we are not planning that for stage 3 either. May 17th, as you know, we are hoping to go for the opening up of indoor hospitality and so on. We are not planning for anything of that kind at that stage. But you gotta laugh and it's, we're not planning for that, which means that we could happen. Definitely could. We can change our minds. That's what we do. The review added, it is possible the COVID status certification could also play a role in reducing social distancing requirements in other settings which people tend to visit more frequently, for example in hospitality settings. However, the government recognises this has significant implications for businesses and their customers, so this will be further considered in consultation with industry as part of the review of social distancing rules and taking into account the equalities and other impacts. For now, businesses should continue to plan to reopen in a way that follows the latest COVID secure guidance, and certification will not be required for reopening as parts of Step 2 or Step 3. So, to me, as always, as has always been the case, I take it down to individual businesses to make their own decisions. The main reason being, if you're scared of something and you do not wish to let somebody in who could be contaminated or infected with something that you're afraid of, then by all means not allow people in with such a thing. And the same goes for weapons or dress codes, that kind of thing. However, because the fallout from this would be, chances are that business wouldn't really see very much success if they're creating such strict limitations on their clientele, and you'd get boycotts and that kind of thing. But the other way to go about this is from the civil rights perspective, which is to say that if you can't disbar people based on these requirements, these unalienable characteristics, as you will, especially given that, now there's second thoughts to that the AstraZeneca jab shouldn't be given to under 30s because of risk of blood clots, where it seems that if there's a concern the vaccine is going to cause more harm than the virus for under 30s. That is the perceived thought of the perceived harm. Okay, Susan. But with that in mind as well, that you can't discriminate against people on these grounds. Obviously, you can't do it on racial grounds or gendered grounds, unless they're black or women. But aside from that, let's pretend that there's some universality here, that you could go down that route as well in order to get around such limitations. Not my preferred way, really not necessary. Because, let's put it this way, do you really wish to patronise a business that holds those views anyway? Most likely, no. In which case, it doesn't really make any difference. If it is known, then you can decide, with the information given, in order to go where you wish. Whereas if it is not known, because it is not publicised, because nothing can be done for people who have these views in their favour, then there's nothing you can do about it. So that is vehemently my stance on the situation, at least, and hopefully that makes sense. But that's about it, really. That there is a bit of hope. Not much hope, because, of course, if the Rebel MPs are too vocal about it, then there's going to be a back doorway, and you can always find polls that support whatever you wish to support, and you can always manipulate statistics to show what you want, as we've seen so much over the past year. What's the count at the top? On the Mail Online, they love to have their running total. So, lockdown day 378. There you go. Yep, so they clearly like to use statistics at their leisure, shall we say. But that's it for me, so let me know what you guys think down below. Do you think that the vote will come to pass, and that there will actually be significant pushback behind it? And do you think Boris Johnson is actually being honest in what he's saying this time around? Or do you think all hope is lost? But if all hope is lost, then what are you supposed to do? But really, because let's say you think, okay, I'll be a refugee and I'll go to a different country. For a start, you've got to find a way to sneak out of this country. Maybe go down to Kent and get one of those single-use dinghies and take it the other way. But is that really the plan? Because then where are you going to go? You could have gone to the land of the free and home of the brave, but it doesn't seem to be that way anymore. So I'm intrigued to know what your plan is. Either way, let me know down below. And as always, until next time, have a good one.